When you go for a job interview, most people prepare answers to the common questions like tell me about yourself or why should we hire you. But what really sets you apart is the question you ask to the employer. This not only shows genuine interest but also tells you if the role and the company are a good fit for you. So let's talk about the kinds of questions, both general and industry specific questions, that you can ask to the employer in an interview. So let's start with some general questions that you can ask about the role. So firstly, you can ask, what does success look like in this role? Or what are my top priorities in this role in the first 90 days? You could also ask something like, what are the biggest challenges this role might face? These are the questions that show the employer that you're thinking ahead and you want some clarity on your expectations. Also, I personally would say that avoid asking questions like, what would my day-to-day responsibilities will look like? Or, what will the daily life look like in this role? Avoid asking these questions because that is mainly answered in the job description by the employer. So it might come across as if you have not read the job description correctly, or you're just asking the questions because you have to. So it might come across in a very negative way, which could affect you. So please avoid that. Ask some of the questions that I've suggested, or please watch the rest of the video to understand what will be the perfect question to ask in an interview. Next, you should always ask about the team and the culture. So some of the examples include, can you tell me more about the team I'll be working with? Or how is the company's culture? Or how would you describe the company's culture? You could also ask something like, what do employees over here enjoy the most about working in this company? This might throw the employer under the bus to answer, but basically I think this will again give you a great idea of what to expect with the team and the company's culture, because in the UK I think every employer really respects and values the company's culture. I mean, I love working in my team, and it is such a small team, but it is so well formed and everyone has different traits, and it's lovely when we work together. So to know these things before you start the role is actually really beneficial for you, and it will give you a perspective from the employer, because the employer is going to basically answer the question. So you can basically see and compare what the employer says, and then you can experience that for yourself when you start the role. So that could be a little interesting too. And these questions will also make you feel comfortable and supportive, because you know what to expect really. So now moving forward to the growth and development area, you could definitely ask questions on growth and development, because employers love to see that you are career focused. So in this role, you can ask questions like, what are the opportunities for professional development? Or how do you support employees in learning new skills? Or you can even go deep into that and ask, can you share examples of people who started working in this company and advanced in their role? Again, these questions show ambition and long-term thinking. I personally love asking these questions because I love learning and constantly growing. I do not like to be stuck in one place. I like a bit of a challenge. I like a bit of a change, because when I started working in my company, I started with handling YouTube and TikTok, but now I've moved towards handling website, handling paid media, Facebook ads, other social media platforms. And I think this is really important for you to kind of keep growing within the company. It obviously gives you a lot of benefits. It gives you promotions, and I'm really happy that I initiated it myself, that I'll take over the website, I'll take over the Facebook ads, all of those other things. I love doing that. If I have the bandwidth, I just go for it. I don't think much about it. And you can definitely ask to take over a few things if you really feel like you can make a difference. So I think again that's really, really important. And also about learning new skills, a lot of companies in the UK make sure that if you want to learn a new skill, you can basically do that and the company will pay for it. So, if you think that you would like to do this certain course or learn this certain new skill, you can just go to your manager and ask them, and they can basically mostly approve it. I cannot see why they'll say no, but if they really think that you can make a difference and you can bring more growth in the role and towards the company, they will definitely do that. When I started my role, I didn't even ask for it, and my boss was like, there's this course for YouTube Organic, and if you know the YouTuber Adam B, he basically conducts this course. He's from Ireland. The course was completely online, but he literally mentored me personally, every single student in the course, and that was really, really helpful. So, and that course wasn't cheap. So, I got to do some great things, and the companies over here do that. So that's really, really exciting. So now moving forward to some industry specific examples. I'm going to talk about marketing because I've done marketing and I can relate to those questions more. But you can find that about your industry specifically. You can ask ChatGPT about it, and you will have an idea anyway what to ask about the role. So, for example, you can ask something like, what marketing channels are driving most growth in your business or in your company? Or how do you measure the success of the marketing campaigns here? So again, these questions not only show that you're really interested in this role, but also show you that you're interested in the practical side. You could also ask something like, what are the biggest marketing challenges the team is facing right now? Which genuinely positions you as you're looking to be that person who steps in the role and solves all the problems. You will bring a new perspective in that, and this just shows that you're really problem solving kind of oriented. If you want to ask something about your competitors, you can ask, what is one thing your competitors are doing right now that you are looking to incorporate in your business? Again, this just shows that you are ready to kind of bring in that new perspective. You want to incorporate new ideas into the business, and it gives you the kind of idea from the employer's perspective. Obviously, if you join the role, you can research that for yourself, but it's really something interesting to ask the employer. Also, please avoid asking basic questions like what social media platforms does the company use, or something basic like, does the company use Canva, or something basic like that. So don't ask something like that, because you can see it yourself, especially if they're on social media. You can see that what social media platforms they have. They've probably mentioned that in the job description or the website or something, and they'll mention what tools you will need to use in the job description as well. So do not ask basic questions like that. Finally, please don't forget to ask questions about the company's future, because I think that's really important to know from an employer's point of view. So most of the employers ask in an interview that, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? So why not you ask them, where do you see the company's future in the next 2 or 3 years, or maybe next 5 years? So, you could ask something like that to see what the employer says about the company. And, you can basically have realistic expectations, realistic goals to set, that, the company needs to achieve this in the next 5 years. So you'll work towards that. Or if you want to be a little more specific, you can also ask, what are the biggest goals the company is working towards right now, and how does my role contribute towards those larger goals? Again, like I said, this helps you see the bigger picture and shows the employer that you are looking to be a part of that success, and you are looking to bring in that change which the company is looking to achieve. So again, this just sets like realistic goals for you if you get the role, and it's something again really interesting to know from the employer's point of view. Also, please avoid asking any questions on your salary or your visa if you require one. This is not the time to ask those questions. If you want to negotiate your salary, you can do that later on after they offer you the role. But please do not ask that in an interview, especially in a face-to-face interview. I mean, that's like really something you should not worry about, because that really shows the employer that you're probably just applying for money or to, to get the visa or something like that. You need to show your actual enthusiasm and excitement and look for bigger picture, bigger goals, and all of that. Although I personally would ask questions like, if I got the role, what would be my start date? Because then it'll give you an idea when do you need to start, and how, if you're working in a company for the moment, then when do you need to give your resignation, and how will your notice period work out, and how much time do you have for yourself before you start the new role. Or if you're unemployed, then you can probably ask like, what will be my start date if I got the role, and then you can basically plan out what are you going to do in that period before you start the role. I definitely asked that question in a lot of interviews. In the company that I am working in right now, I didn't need to ask that because I was offered the job in the interview itself. They were pretty clear that they wanted me, and basically we just sat together and discussed my start date, because it was from their side that if you accept the role, when would you like to join and stuff like that. So it was really different for me in the job that I'm working in right now. But yeah, that's something that you can definitely ask if you feel confident that you're going to get the role. And do not just ask, when am I going to start or something like that. Just ask, if I get the role. Just build that up. So yeah, and lastly, I would just like to say that remember that interviews are a two-way street. So if you ask thoughtful and well-prepared questions, both general and tailored for your industry or your field, you will not only make a great impression, but also it will help you gain some insights if the company and the role is right for you. I know if you're in the UK, you'll take the first job that you'll get, because the job market is so bad right now that everyone is just taking the first role that they're getting. But obviously, even if it's that role that you're going to get, it's important to see if it's right for you, so that you know what your future will hold if you want to change the job and everything like that. So also, please don't ask every question that I've mentioned in this video, or ask like maybe 2 or 3. You don't want to be like bombard. You are not taking their interview, they're taking your interview. Just remember that. But maybe pick like 2 or 3 questions that you really want some nice information on. So yeah, that is it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video and it was helpful. I love making these videos because I love helping people, and recently I've been getting so many nice messages from a lot of you. So it just makes me feel extremely happy that I'm making a difference and I'm helping out people. So please do let me know in the comments if I've ever helped you. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please give this video a huge like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.